Okay, welcome back. We're now going to reassemble our Glock, and we're going to start with the upper receiver, the slide, and we're going to start out specifically with firing pin. For this, you're going to need the firing pin sleeve, firing pin, spring, and the two cups. Alright, take your firing pin sleeve, slide it down over your firing pin, making sure the foot goes through the groove. Take your slide, your almighty reassemble tool, put the firing pin in there, make sure that the foot is sitting on the metal, and set her up. Your firing pin spring, set it down over the top. Now, when you reassemble these, you need to check your firing pin cups here. If they're cracked, if they're excessively worn, well, they need to be replaced. Glock says if you replace one, you replace both. Just be advised. They're not real super expensive, but they do wear out from time to time. Take your firing pin spring, grasp with 2 fingers, compress it. Be very careful at this point in time, because if you let it go, you will do the gunsmith crawl. I successfully completed my crawl after about 30 minutes and found my pin. Insert the cups one at a time. Well, I said one at a time anyway. There we go. And slowly release the spring pressure, making sure she stays captivated. Firing pin is now reassembled. Let's continue on. Take your extractor and look it over. You're going to want to look at the corners here. Most of your problems with extracting come from this right here, and it's generally broke. It has to be replaced. Here it goes in the slide. The little round hole here, round circle, goes in the round hole. Duh. Slide it in, kind of hold it in with your finger. Your firing pin block safety goes in the hole here on the side. Just kind of hold a little bit of pressure, slide her in, push it all the way in. It's now being held by your extractor. Just hold a little pressure on it, you'll be alright. Take your firing pin, insert it in the firing pin channel. Your EDP, metal piece first, metal to metal, plastic to plastic, slide it in on top. Take your back cap and insert. If you'll note, there is 2 little metal tabs. Those metal tabs face the outside. The inside is grooved. That's what your firing pin sleeve rides in. That's what's going to lock it in. Go ahead and insert it from the bottom while maintaining pressure on it. When you're inserting it, depress one and then the other. There you go. Be mindful that they are under spring pressure. If you slip, let it fly, you will do the gunsmith crawl. So as we push it in, push it down, captivated. Now we do the same thing for the EDP. Push it in, push it down, captivated. She's locked in place. Make sure we got everything right. Firing pin will not protrude because of the firing pin safety. Push the safety in. Firing pin is now protruding. Bring it back, you hear a click, it rises, everything's working there. Set it to the side. Okay, let's reassemble our trigger. Our trigger housing, our disconnector, and our trigger. Take the housing, slide it back in the groove that you punched out of, push it all the way down. You'll note here, it will not set flush, it actually will rise up on the corner. That's normal, don't worry about it. Hold your S spring with the S facing. When you go, it's going to face down. It's actually going to face down into the housing. The hole here is where the spring is going to go. Just basically slide it up under. Forgive me, I'm not used to doing it at this angle. It's kind of unique. Slide it in, bring it over, and basically you reverse how you put it back. Okay, let's go ahead and reassemble this into the frame itself. Just kind of lock it in place, hold it a little bit. Trigger goes in this hole, housing goes in this hole. I'll slide it all the way in. There you go. Now, here's my successful gunsmith crawl. Took me 30 minutes to find that little critter. Pins go out, left to right, in, right to left. So we put it in the hole. Again, taking our punch, pushing it in, and centering it up. Okay. Now, it's captivated, it's not going anywhere. So next thing we got to do is we got to install our locking block. If you'll notice, the locking block has got a thick end and a little end. Thick, little. Thick groove, little groove. Thick groove, little groove. Means you can't put it in backwards. Thick, little. Let's turn it around. See, you cannot put it in backwards. That ain't gonna let you. Turn it around correct, and line them up. In she goes. Okay, you want to put in the top pin first. She goes in from the right to the left, and that's going to captivate and hold the locking block in. Push it in, center it up. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install our slide stop. If you'll notice, the spring comes up, sets over. It will ride, the slide stop will ride in this groove right here. The spring will be captivated by that pin. Now we'll put the pressure on it. When you put that pin in first. Slide it in, slide it up under. If you slide it too far, you're gonna go past it. You're not going to be able to get it. If you install them backwards, you're going to wind up having to take them out and redo it. So do it right the first time. Line your holes up. Take your pin with the two grooves, slide it in. And once you've lined it up, she'll go right in. Don't need hammers. Anything. Center it up. Next thing we need is the slide lock. It is grooved. There's a groove right here. There's a notch here and a groove here. This notch rides in the spring. This groove catches the barrel. You can install it backwards. The barrel will not catch. It'll slide right over. Pull the trigger one time, your slide's going to take off downrange. Not cool. So make sure you take your lock, and this will always face the magazine. Depress your spring. Hold on just a second. Not used to doing it at this angle. Depress your spring. Take your slide. Lock, slide it in all the way through, and when you hit the center of it, it'll fall into the groove on the spring. Give her a quick test. She's good to go. The bottom is now reassembled. Install the barrel. Lock it into place. Recoil spring, flat end, round end. Flat end goes to the barrel, round end goes toward the end of the muzzle. Just press, stick it in place. Now when you reassemble, you got two grooves in the back of the slide, here and here. They correspond with two ears on the frame itself. Slide them in slowly. Now everybody gets, and they just want to slam it. Glock says don't do that. Bring it back, you feel the tightness, A little bit of pressure till it overrides, and she's done.